$30,000 to the first clairvoyant who can predict the future and get it right. Well, that was an offer 4 Adelaide psychics could not refuse. Here's Graham Archer with a challenge that began 4 weeks ago.
I can actually see the tyres skidding along, and it's a very close encounter.
Well, there's definitely you having a big think about, will I move house or will I stay?
It's the age-old tussle, science versus the supernatural, a test to see if claims by those professing psychic powers are fair dinkum or bunkum.
The few psychics that I have talked to, they genuinely believe it, but they are deluded, and they go through a self-delusion process.
John Foley is a skeptic. In fact, he's a senior member of the Australian Skeptics Society, a group of hardline doubters who investigate claims of the paranormal and who are prepared to hand over $30,000 to anyone who can prove they have psychic powers.
In America, there's enough money over there. There's $750,000 available in America for the same claim.
So all they need to do is prove what they say is true, and they could be $750,000 better off.
They certainly could. And they do that under scientific test with independent scrutineers, and we're perfectly happy to pay the money.
There's 3 spiritual diseases. One of them is skepticism.
If they knew what we knew and experienced what we experienced, they wouldn't be skeptics.
Have you ever been impressed? Have you ever thought, gee, that wasn't bad?
Yes, there have been a few. The more spectacular frauds, such as Uri Geller and Doris Stokes, they're very clever at what they do. But they are frauds, and put under test, they can't make it work.
So enough talk. 4 Adelaide psychics have agreed to put their reputations on the line in Today Tonight's psychic test.
You might have a day where it's extremely high-powered energy, is almost volcanic coming out of you. So it's a day when you've got to be careful you don't zap yourself. I mean, I used to have a run where I constantly blew up the clothes dryer or the washing machine or light bulbs, you know.
First is Rosemary Waller, a psychic well known in Adelaide through her radio chat segments.
80% of what I tell people is going to happen.
I used to have hundreds of dreams, prophetic dreams, earthquakes, plane crashes, anything you can think around the world. And that was very eye-opening to me as well.
So you have had experiences of being able to predict the future?
Yep.
Raylene Leach is next. She claims not only can she foretell the future, but she has mystical healing powers as well.
I can actually see inside the body like X-ray vision, see inside the organs, find out what the problem is, and often refer them on to whoever the spirits tell me to.
Well, I'm a chaos magician.
Sue Kavanagh is another Adelaide psychic who's agreed to take the test and to attempt to explain what she does and how she does it.
Well, as a child, I could see spirit objectively, that's with the physical eyes. Now I tend to see them psychically with my psychic eye. I speak to them, I can hear voices. It's a little bit like telepathy, I suppose.
And finally, Justine, who believes we all have the power to see into the future.
Most definitely. What I've come to realise is a lot of people are very sensitive. Psychic is just being sensitive to what one is feeling.
We asked our psychics to make 4 predictions of events that will occur within the next 4 weeks and put their forecasts in writing.
But with those changes, there's a lot of sadness because it means that anything...
Our skeptic agreed to join the test using his own technique of fortune-telling, throwing darts at a spinning wheel. So this is your Wheel of Fortune?
Yes, Graham. We've got 4 predictions here on each one of the categories that you've given the psychics to predict, but I've introduced the random element of an ordinary dart.
Okay, all right.
So if we just drop that on there, we'll see which one comes up.
Okay, well, let's see what's going to happen in the future. The first prediction, a major human event anywhere in the world.
I feel that Hussein's tail, which is the scorpion, is going all the way around the back way and is going to stab Clinton in the back and cause him a lot of hurt.
What I believe is there's going to be a major derailment in London.
Barbara Cartland's going to be sick. She is about 160 though, isn't she?
No, I think she's about 95 actually.
Close. Next, a major event in Australia within 4 weeks.
The issue of Australia's identity will come up again. I think there's going to be a main gentleman behind it, young, enthusiastic, somebody that we don't really know.
Well, I do believe we'll be having Australian soldiers going in from the northern part of Australia. I believe they're already there, and I do believe that they will be joining forces with the US.
Oh, that's a borderline one. Official change in interest rates. Prediction 3, a major event in South Australia. Oh, what do we got? Major economic project announcement. Well, we'll get one of those a week.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. I think you're on a winner with that one.
Possible unexplained power blackouts too.
Major weather diversion, but of course we're already actually having that. So I would say probably along the lines of flash flooding in areas where more burst water mains, etc.
And finally, for the last prediction. Okay, time for a natural disaster anywhere in the world. Fine.
It was like natural disaster. It was a flash, and I saw a volcano, so it's going to be some volcanic eruption.
I actually seen an earthquake, and I feel it might be in Mexico.
Cyclone in the Caribbean. Well, sounds bad.
Cyclones always are.
Okay. So that's a selection of what our psychics foretold. A few volcanoes, an earthquake or two, a war here or there, etc., etc. Stick around and you'll find out who fortune favours when the psychics meet the skeptic.
Yeah, I'm prepared to state that no clairvoyant, no psychic, no card reader, tea leaf reader, chicken gizzard diviner, nobody's ever been able to predict the future. Now, I've answered the same 5 questions as you people, and I'm prepared to say that not so much over 5 questions, but over a larger number, perhaps 1,000 questions, my result would be just as accurate as any of yours. And I don't claim to be psychic.
You can sit there and argue all you like, but the big thing is we know you don't.
Do they know? Well, that was 4 weeks ago, and after the break, we'll see just how those predictions stacked up today. Skeptic John Foley had $30,000 in his back pocket and a gut feeling that it would stay right there. Now remember, his bet was that he could predict the future as well or better than our 4 Adelaide psychics. Graham Archer checks how they fared.
With 5 billion people on the planet, there isn't one of them can demonstrate that they have psychic ability.
And that's what a lot of skeptics are doing. They're trying to destroy the truth. And
We're not trying to destroy the truth, we're trying to find it.
No, you're trying to destroy it. You're trying to discredit people who are bringing the truth out. And you'll never kill the truth.
Clairvoyance fronting up to South Australia's senior skeptic. John Foley says there's no such thing as psychic ability. It's all just guesswork. But these people say his mind is closed.
Never be happy because they have got closed minds and they work on the logical, and you cannot work on the logical on supernatural.
There's the Oxford Dictionary definition of a skeptic, and it says one who considers. That's what I do, and I'm prepared to accept anything you're prepared to do if you put the facts in front of me.
You are still a closed mind person. You're on the scientific plane, we're on the supernatural, we know what we do.
The supernatural being the superstitious.
The spiritual, and you can sit there and argue all you like, but the big thing is we know you don't.
Well, I'll argue with the facts. What are you arguing with?
I don't even worry about the facts because
you don't worry about the facts.
You're working with the facts on the logical plane, and as I said before, in your area 1 and 1 make 2, but in the spiritual area 1 and 2 make 6.
In other words, it doesn't work.
It does work, but it's on a different level. And
the skeptics are so sure that no such powers exist that they're offering a large reward for anyone who can prove otherwise.
I'm willing to have a go at saying, well, look, this is what I believe will happen. You're not paying me $2 million to announce all this.
We'll pay you $750,000.
To predict all these amazing things. I mean,
you haven't got any more feeling or intuition than anybody else. And if you would like to put it to the test, money or no money, we'd be very happy to test you.
But John, don't you ever have a gut feeling, the sense that something is about to happen?
No. No.
A lot of police might have something to say about that.
Yes, and do the police use psychics?
The police are psychic.
Oh, the police are psychic.
What do you think their gut feelings are about?
I've got letters from Los Angeles, all the Australian police forces, including the federal police, that state quite clearly that they do not use psychics.
No, they will deny it constantly. They are psychic.
Enough of this, let's get down to the business of who scored on the future stakes and who is still waiting for something to happen. Let's start with Rosemary. Well, she got the local power blackout but lost half a mark for saying it was unexplained. And that was the lot for Rosemary.
The bottom line is eventually. That's the biggest thing psychics deal with, is you get the messages across, but when is it exactly going to happen?
I'll make another prediction. There's going to be a tidal wave. When? I don't know, but there's going to be a tidal wave.
Well, there was a volcano, and Sue scored well on that, but she was left wanting in every other category.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Next, Raylene, who dipped out in every category, but she's not discouraged.
This was supposed to be this month.
You know as well as I know, you can be 1 second out and 1 second could be a month or a year, or even 10 years.
Lastly, Justine scored half a mark for the flash floods, minus the water mains that didn't burst.
I know that I've seen friends of mine that have predicted and eventually they become spiritually dry because they're working with an energy that we're not meant to be working with.
And now to our skeptic, who had direct hits with interest rate changes and local economic news. His 2 points means a clear victory to the Dart and Wheel of Fortune combo.
What we have done here this morning, though, is demonstrated quite clearly that the work that you people do is nothing more than guesswork.
I don't profess to be 100% correct all the time.
No, I don't profess to be 100% correct, but I'm professing that I am as accurate as you, you are as accurate as Nostradamus.
And one last prediction, these people will probably never agree.
Believe it.